You're in for a treat if you get the chance to get down to bar time in Footscray. The food is delicious. It's like going into Howard's house and him cooking for you. It really does have that feel, doesn't it?
That's what we want. We want people to feel like they're in an extension of our home.
Oh, I love it, and it's candlelit and it's cute and it's seasonal. And that's what I really love about neighbourhood restaurants. They're seasonal. Just like this recipe that we're making today. We're showcasing the humble celeriac. And what have you done with the celeriac?
So we've peeled the celeriac,
Yep.
wrapped it in foil, a little bit of sage in there, which is going to marry with the pork, olive oil, but then we've slow roasted it for about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay, and that is just piping hot at the moment, so we're going to leave it.
Absolutely, we're going to let it rest and cool down and let all those juices soak back into it.
Great.
Okay, so we're going to start off. If you could finely chop some garlic for me.
Can do.
I'm going to pick some sage, which is going to go as a garnish, but also into our lovely cream sauce as well.
Howard, this is a typical dish that I adore. Lots of butter, cream, sage and pork. Really autumnal, wintry flavours right here.
That's it. And don't forget the cider as well. Pork and cider.
Pork and
Best
cider
friends.
too. Yeah. Fantastic. And using quite a lot of sage for this recipe?
Yep, so we're going to use it in 2 parts. We're going to put some aside there for our sauce. And this part here, we're going to start off by frying it and getting it nice and crispy, and that will go on the top of our dish at the end.
Oh, very nice.
So we're going to take a little bit of olive oil.
And this is an easy step to do, but you do need to keep an eye on it because it can burn so quickly.
Absolutely.
It's a fine line. You want it to be super crispy, so you want to keep it in there for a while. But
That's it. The key is to have it not too hot.
Right.
And we're just looking for the leaves to go transparent.
okay, great. Good tip.
One of the great things about this dish
Yep.
is it's all one pan apart from the celeriac. So minimal washing up.
And even with the celeriac, I mean, because we've wrapped it up in the foil there, not much wash up there.
No, none at all.
I like that type of cooking.
This is how I like to cook at home as well, you know?
Yeah.
Not much to do afterwards.
Absolutely.
And this is also going to flavour the oil, so we've already got that sage flavour working through the dish.
Oh, it smells so good too.
Yeah, delicious.
And they're ready.
Yep, straight out with those.
Yeah. So what type of pork are we using today?
So we've got some lovely pork neck, which I really like. It's got some fat going through it. It stays lovely and tender and moist as well when we cook it. So we're going to season that up with a little bit of salt.
Pork neck is also called pork scotch sometimes at your supermarket.
Yeah.
For some reason, we can't say the word neck, but that's where it comes from. And it is one of my favourite cuts to use, like you were saying, even amount of meat to fat. And again, we talk about versatility. It's versatile. You can slow cook it and you can sear it off like a steak too.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're going to gently put those in, away from us always, so we don't burn ourselves.
Great. Nice hot pan. And Howard, how long do we cook the steak for?
So about 4 minutes on each side,
Yep.
and then we might finish them with a little bit of butter as well.
Great.
Okay, so now off, we're going to finish our sauce.
Okay.
So if you can chop some sage for me.
Yes.
In the same
absolutely.
pan, we're going to cook off our shallots and garlic.
And that little bit of butter that you added to the pork steaks,
Yes,
that was so dreamy.
it's lovely.
And it gives it just that lovely gloss too, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah, it's beautiful.
That's really good. And see all those sticky pan juices from the pork, that is flavour.
Yes, absolutely. So the French call that sucre, which means sugars.
Yes.
And it just really adds that depth of flavour and some nice colour to the cream sauce as well.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. That doesn't take long at all because we've chopped our shallots really fine.
Yep.
So now we're going to get some cider.
Oh, great. So can you use any cider for this, or would you prefer dry cider?
Dry cider works best. You don't
Yep.
want anything sweet because it's going to make a very sweet sauce. I prefer local cider because Australia has some great ciders.
Yeah, great. Yep.
And this is where we start layering flavours. So we're going to add that cider in and we're going to reduce that right down to a syrup.
And this is perfect timing because you bring your steaks out, don't want to be cutting into that straight away. So letting them rest there for that 4 to 5 minutes is just perfect because you need to wait for that to gently, gently reduce down.
Absolutely. It's so important with meat to give it a good rest. Okay, so we've added that cider, it's reduced right down.
Yep.
Next up we've added some cream and we've reduced that again, probably for about 5 to 6 minutes.
Yep. And it really does thicken. You don't need any flour or anything like that to thicken this. It's just patience, just allowing it to reduce and do its thing.
And again, it's those layers of flavour which give you depth. So now we're going to add our freshly chopped sage in there, just to cook that and let the flavours go through the sauce.
I love the amount of sage you're using. Usually recipes call for just a few sprigs here and there because it's quite strong, but for this you want to taste it with the cider.
Absolutely, we've got big punchy flavours, so we want them to stand out.
Great.
So next up, we're going to take our celeriac.
Aha.
So let's have a look inside, see how this is. You should see. Beautiful, look at that.
Still steamy.
Yeah, gorgeous. So we're going to whip that out from the container there.
Yep.
All right, let's cut it in the middle and see how it looks. So soft.
Like butter.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
It is such a great alternative to potatoes. Well, we love our potatoes, but sometimes if you want something just a little bit different, vegetables like celeriac are a great alternative. It's got that nuttiness to it, it's sweet, it's easy to eat.
Absolutely, soups are awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, lovely. So now we're just going to do a little bit of fancy plating here.
Okay.
So this doesn't need much at all. Bit fancy chefy there, do a little spiral. Okay. And we're going to take our pork neck or pork scotch. And we're going to be quite rustic here. We'll just do a couple of big slices.
Beautiful. So tender.
Yes, yeah. So well rested there, so nice and moist still in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a little look there. Lovely.
And pork neck or pork scotch, it's readily available. You can get it absolutely everywhere.
The supermarket sells it.
Yep.
You can go to your local butcher. And then almost there, so we're going to take this lovely thick sauce there. The sage has cooked down a bit now. I'm just going to nappe that.
I could just get some bread and...
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what you do at the end of the pan. That's the chef's special prize.
Yeah. Well, at your restaurant bar time, you actually make your own bread too, on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Every morning we bake fresh sourdough. It's just a passion of ours, a love that we like to do.
Fantastic.
Here we go.
Yes, look at that.
And then just to finish off that celeriac, a little bit of salt, because it hasn't had anything on the inside of it. And then we're going to take some of our crispy sage leaves there and just scatter those all over the top like that.
Oh, that's so pretty. Howard, to me, that is autumn on a plate, just perfect.
Absolutely, yeah. Perfect on a cold night, glass of red wine.
Yes. You go to your restaurant, that's what you have, a little wine, sit by the window, little candles.
Absolutely.
This is great. I'm going to dig in. Meet this stunning celeriac.
That's it, and it should work. The nuttiness of the celeriac has some savouriness to the sweetness of the cider sauce.
This is food that you really want to eat. You've got a beautiful piece of pork like that with the cream.
Yeah.
And sage. I need to use more sage in my cooking because it's so good. Howard, that is an absolutely beautiful dish.
My pleasure.